player in the bottom left representing Team Liquid. He is the young 18-year-old Frenchman. The blue Terran player, it is Clem.
And his opponent. In the top right-hand side in the red, one of only 3 players to win the GSL 4 times. Ooh. Hey, chat, can you name the other 2? Anyway, he is Team Envy's Maru.
So, straight away, we have to pay attention to the fact that Maru is playing standard here on Oxide. He has not proxied. We've seen Maru, as the day goes on, starting to add a couple of proxies back into his game. Of course, renowned for proxy raxing. But so far, double gas, everything is very standard. Clem has been vicious. He has been like an attack dog, where if he smells just a bit of weakness, he will lunge. He goes for the throat. Maru has started off a little slower today, but seems to have really picked it up. It's kind of hard to do predictions here. Like, we don't do them often, but I find this the most challenging so far. I think my heart says Clem in terms of performance today, but Maru can be Maru at any time. Like, he's Maru.
Well, that's the thing here. I feel like when you look at Clem, I don't know about expect. I think expect is a strong word, but he seems to have a preference for doing what I like to call the little Clem push at about 6-7 minutes. You know, get a couple Marines, maybe a medevac, whatever fell out of your factory, and just go across the map. And he's so good with his micro and his scouting and everything that he usually can do a lot of damage with it. But you're absolutely correct in saying that we've seen Maru even just today. 40-minute game, late game composition, Sky Terran versus whatever. Absolutely. Or double proxy racks, clean it up, fix back spot, 20 seconds, he wins. Yeah. Maru has a lot of tricks in his bag, but again, that's not to say that Clem does not. So I agree with you. Almost impossible to call. It'd be amazing to see Clem 2-0 this one. But Maru's going to be a hell of an opponent, Grant. So far, everything looking even between these two players. Expansions on both sides. Really, the only difference right now is this Tech Lab onto Maru's factory. Early Cyclone, I imagine?
Yeah, I think so. Maru is going to play very safe here. He's not going to go for an extra couple of Hellions and control the map early on. Clem, on the other hand, is getting Hellions, so he will be able to move out with his Reapers and try and keep Maru back at home, stop any scouting from coming in. We do see Maru moving out with just 2 Reapers for now. There's a possibility if they jump up that they get sniped and Clem just goes, because what he would have would be able to take down a Cyclone. We don't see them coming up for a little bit of scout here. Clem already pulling his units back. May lose an SCV here, which isn't great. Nice micro so far. Doesn't look like he's going to lose many. Oh, he lost the Mule.
2 of them, actually. 2 mules did go down there in that fight. The Reaper's focus firing down. Really well done there by Maru. The mules were about halfway done already, so it's basically like losing 1 mule. So it will slow down Clem just a little bit, and that's frustrating to deal with. But losing both Reapers does kind of suck for Maru, Grant. He loses a lot of scouting potential, especially since, as you said, he's playing a bit more safe here, going for the tank, a much later starport than Clem did. Clem's medevac already on the way out. So a bit of an even trade, I think, there, economically for Maru, but then militarily for Clem.
Yeah, and we know what Clem is like once he gets this early medevac. He hasn't lost any units, so he is going to be trying to get those loaded up straight away and moving across the map. And if he can outrange the siege tank, if he can catch Maru unprepared, Clem might be able to find some counter damage here.
Yeah, it looks like he's queued up again for this tank and 4 Marine drop. We've seen him do this before. The question is going to be, is he going to go ahead and follow with the rest of his units, or is he going to leave them back behind? It does look like there are a few Reapers following by, and yeah, Clem is going to bring absolutely everything across the map right now.
Behind this, Clem adding on another Tech Lab, I think onto a starport, so he can get a Raven out. Yep, nice and normal there. And he's getting a lot of bio, everything pretty normal. This is by no means all in from Clem, but Maru needs to be prepared for this because this tank is going to siege up. There is a Cyclone here, but the Marines already moving forward. And now Clem coming in with the rest of his units to reinforce. Hasn't lost any of the Reapers or the Hellion yet. And this tank has now taken control of this low ground and will start firing upon the SCVs. And as long as the tank is alive, this base cannot successfully mine. Maru's going to lose a few workers here. And this is what Clem wants to do. He knows...
Yeah, I don't think... Sorry to interrupt. I don't think this went quite as well for Clem as it could have, though. Losing that medevac very early on means that he was 100% committed to the push. So he also lost, if you'll notice, he lost his Hellion early on, which means he had no splash damage. And Maru's tank was in a really nice position there, just out of range of the other siege tank. So Maru actually defended really well. You're not wrong. He stopped mining down there for a long time, but I think Clem did not intend to lose that medevac, and that was a huge loss. That was the linchpin. That was the keystone in the build there, so that you just pick up and get out. Losing the tank very early, really rough. We now see Clem on a 18 army supply to 23 of Maru, and they're just about even on workers now. So if anything, the income graph is going to be evened out. Even though Maru was a little ahead after those two mules went down, we're going to see Maru slightly ahead, I think. But yeah, not what Clem was hoping for there in that engagement.
Yeah, I certainly think the 2 Reapers so far have been the hero of this game for Maru. The Cyclone as well, with that lock-on was beautiful. Both players adding on 3rd command centers, and Maru's going to go for his first little push here. He does have 2 Ravens out. Clem's second one just about to pop. Clem is going to see this, which is nice. Going to get as much DPS down on the tank as he can, just to soften it up for when the push comes. And even that alone is going to be enough for Maru to go, okay, I'm fine. Clem now knows Maru's composition. He knows what the army looks like. He is going to swap on over as well and start up his stim most likely on this. Barracks adding on barracks 2 and 3 as well. E-base coming in from Maru. Clem should be following very, very shortly. And this game is we're in the calm before the storm right now. Very, very close. Slight army lead here for Maru, but it'd be very difficult for him to make anything massive of it.
The big problem right now is that Maru has twice as many tanks as Clem does, and especially these low tank numbers, this is going to be a really, really difficult hold for Clem right now. 2 tanks, and he's got a lot of surface area to cover as he takes this 3rd base. He knows that Maru's coming, but Maru actually taking a very interesting angle down on the south side. So he's going to get scanned, and Clem's going to realize, oh, my tank's slightly out of position. Repositions just in time, but there it is, the interference. Big sees from Maru, and now Clem is in a really tough spot here. All 4 of Maru's tanks are up there, just out of range of Clem's tanks, but now there are no Marines left for Clem, and Maru has complete control of this dead man zone outside Clem's natural.
The good news for Clem is he's taking control of the air here. Oh no, it ends up being completely even with the Marines following. No, Clem has that 1 extra Viking. Maru now reinforcing, but the air battle is going to be enough to force Maru back because Clem's tanks would have had longer range with that air support. And Clem still has both of his Ravens, as does Maru. But this one Cyclone has just done so much work, Creighton. It has 6 kills, and they were all, or almost all, workers. So a very, very, very nice turn of events here for Maru. And Clem right now needs to find something because it's starting to look a little scary. Getting a Raven would be a great start.
In this play, the Cyclone will be playing the role of Hellion during a run by. I feel like I've got the B stream of like like when a Broadway actor is sick and they're like, tonight the roll up. Oh jeez. As you said, Viking count looking good for Clem here, but he can't keep taking these awful engagements against Maru. Maru's just getting the 1-up on these shots, so he will lose the Vikings, but reinforcement's going to push Clem back, and Clem now 1 Viking to 2. And with the tank count as high as it is, I know I'm harping on this a lot, but this is so important right now. Shelling down onto the 3rd base, and Clem doesn't want to lift up, but he can't lose this either. This is very, very awkward.
The one good thing for Clem right now is he did just get both of the Ravens, and the Viking DPS much lower than that of the... Oh my god, Maru just unsieged. Clem's going to go with the SCVs. It's such a vital push. He's going to lose so many SCVs. It looks like maybe Maru is going to be able to hold on. 1 tank at the east side just shelling away, but GG, Maru takes map 1 and dethrones Clem's perfect run.
Man, that was a hell of a game. Very strategic, very, I feel, so we talked about this a little earlier, Grant, but I feel like Terran games, or TVT in particular, is a great matchup. It's not my favorite, because I love TVZ just so much, but TVT is a great matchup right now because you've got to be good at so many different things to be really great. Like not to dethrone ZVZ, because ZVZ has its place in my heart and I love it so much. But like if you're bad at micro in ZVZ, you're just going to lose. Like 1 micro mistake, game's over. But in TVT, you've got to be good at micro. You've got to be good at positioning. You've got to be good at map awareness. You've got to be good at unit compositions. Everything has to come together. And TVT games can be really fast, or they can take, 6 hours with tanks dug in there. And Maru did a fantastic job of pushing away Clem's aggression, sniping what he needed to snipe, and overall pushing at the right time, finding the right pressure, and really twisting it in and snapping it off when he needed to. That was picture perfect pressure for Maru. He read that game exceptionally well.
Yeah, and just taking a look, I had a quick look at the resource graph after the game, and losing those 2 mules really did hamstring Clem a little bit. Yeah. It was a silly mistake to lose. He lost 2 mules and 2 SCVs very, very early on, and that did slow him down. It's not something Clem will most likely fall to again. It's very, very rare that a player makes a mistake twice, especially one on this level. But Maru does what Maru needed to do. He slows Clem down. He's now taken the first map from Clem and proved that he is human. But can he close it out? Our next map is going to be Jagannatha. We've seen some great games on this, some very aggressive medevac play. And I'm interested to see what happens next as we now start that countdown, Creighton.
Man, this is going to be so good. So good. Reminder, guys, Clem currently 3-0 in match score. Maru currently 2-1, dropping his series to TY. TY wedged in there between Clem and Maru in the top 3. So a win for Maru would actually probably be pretty good for all 3 of them, sort of solidifying their spots in those top 3. So Maru happy with a win. Obviously, Clem very happy with the win. Remember, guys, 6-player group. Bottom 3 players drop out of the tournament. They're done. Players in 2nd and 3rd place seeded into the round of 12 for the playoffs. And the top player in each group, the number 1 player, gets a coveted bye directly into the quarterfinals. So a lot of scrapping for this number 1 spot.
Oh, yes. For now, though, the only game that matters is the one we are in here on Jagannatha. And our first player in the bottom left, representing Team Liquid, trailing 0-1 in the series. He is the young French Terran player. It is Clem.
His opponent in the top right, the only player to win back-to-back-to-back GSL championships. He is the red Terran player from South Korea and Team NV. It's Cho Sung-ju.
Ooh.
Maru.
Yeah, one of the greatest. And Clem going for a very, very, very early scout here. I don't know if this is just going to be a scout. Yeah.
Scout question mark?
Maybe seeing a proxy racks coming in from young Clement here. Yeah, that is
proxy
what it's going to be. Maybe the factory knows.
Yeah.
Yes,
oh, yeah. I thought he might be going for the factory up at the top corner, but your instincts are absolutely correct there, Grant. Proxy racks up here from Clem. Now, this is fascinating. 1 barracks back home. 2nd barracks up top. This gives Clem a lot of options here. I think concussive shell marauders are probably a pipe dream for me. It's my favorite unit in the game, but you just don't see that build that often anymore. Grant, tell me, what do you think Clem's working on here?
Yeah, so Clem most likely going to make a whole bunch of Reapers. You can see the first one coming already, and he's just going to try and snowball over Maru before Maru is able to get Hellions out. That's the dream here. Slow down everything he can. Maybe stop the CC being built for a considerable amount of time. Maru going in now. We'll see the wall is up and completed. And that's frustrating for Maru because he doesn't see much. He sees there's no unit here, which is odd. But he doesn't get to see that there's no second gas. Maru at home is building a CC on the high ground. He knows something is happening here. He's certainly concerned enough to do that, and that's great. Of course, the Reaper Cliff is still open, and that will allow Clement to get up into the main here of Maru. He's probably going to go with 3 or 4 Reapers, if I were to guess. But this is spicy. Clem needs to make something happen with this. He can't do 0 damage.
This is ridiculous. Look at how good Maru is this freaking game. I mean, seriously, Grant. Maru has dropped a Reaper at the top of this Reaper Cliff because he's like, from just seeing that there's no unit out at the front. Maru's like, okay, what are your options? Pretty much mass Reapers. I got you. But there's another Reap Up Jump Up spot here at the other side. So he's going to pick up 1 SCV and try and hop up. And actually, Maru's Reaper just in the wrong spot here. And Clem will be able to get out. That's going to force a pretty decent SCV pull from Maru. And look at that. The Reaper production is slowed. Marines on the way. A little bit of slowdown on the CC. But this is so far pretty decent damage from Clem. Is it going to be enough?
The Reaper. Getting the Reaper there is so big. He now has 3 damage until the Hellion comes out. Yeah, this is absolutely huge. So many SCVs trying to repair each other, all going down.
Boy.
Clem finding everything he needed right there, Creighton.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. 8 kills. You know, I asked you if this was enough damage at about 3 or 4 kills when it's, a real question. And now it's 8 kills. The Hellion's gone. No more splash damage. My goodness gracious, Grant.
He's not done.
Could not have gone any better for Clem. He's going to hop out for just a minute. I think that might be the end of this early aggression, but he slowed down the CC for a while. He's got his own natural almost finished up as well. And this looks gorgeous for Mr. Desplanchito himself.
Yeah, Clem slightly behind in tech off the back of that, but he's up now 9 workers. It's such a huge amount, over 30% of a lead in terms of worker numbers here. Clem's already going to start moving into tanks to make sure no big counter pressure comes his way. He's also still keeping control of his low ground, stopping that CC from landing just for a few extra seconds. He can just drop a Reaper underneath it, and as it tries to land, it forces Maru to move out and just slows him down very, very slightly. Maru is going to move out there and be able to push this back. I imagine a Reaper grenade will come in just to slow this down a little. Yeah, no, in the end, all is fine. Stop the worker transfer for just a moment. But Maru is so down on workers. Clem never stopped producing workers as soon as he found a bit of damage. And that is just so good. Is that a 3rd CC? That's a done 3rd CC, Creighton. Clem is just going from cheese to hyper greed. A 4-minute 30 CC and TVT is batshit crazy.
Yeah, I mean, look, the freaking Reaper gets in.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I love StarCraft so much for, I mean, you know, for millions of reasons. But these units, Grant, are so cool. Reaper's obviously objectively not the most famous or not the strongest unit of all time, right? They're like, their DPS isn't that great, their firing rate's pretty slow, but they have so much utility, and Clem is really abusing the fact that the Reapers have the jump up, have the grenades, have the speed that they really need to be so annoying. And Maru realizes he's in a rough spot. He's going to go ahead and push across here, Grant. It looks like he's continuing SCV production, so this is not an all-in or anything, but if this fails to do significant damage, he's going to be in some really rough spot. Look at this. Ooh, Clem is not set up too many of his units in siege tank range here. The siege tank, I think, can just barely hit that supply depot. So this isn't really going to do the crippling damage that Maru needs.
Oh, it can hit the reactor as well. That's more frustrating here.
Okay.
Slowing down Marine production. At least it's not, you know, stim or anything along those lines. And Maru right now has control. We do finally see the Marine's going to push forward and force Maru to back off here. Maru going to reposition down here to this little angle behind the natural. The medevac gets locked on. Clem not committing though. Doesn't want to lose his only damage from range onto this medevac. This is nice from Maru. This is what Maru needed to do. Behind this, he is SCV producing like crazy. I think Clem is maybe overreacting a little.
Well, this is really interesting.
Have any tanks left.
He's got the, should have the one. Oh, yeah.
No, he lost it.
It's really interesting. This is exactly what, like, Clem wanted his push to look like last time.
Yeah.
With his medevac, with his tank, with his Marines. And now Maru, in keeping his medevac alive, is able to sustain this damage. And this is becoming really, really annoying for Clem. Now, Clem's still up on SCVs, but look at how many minerals he's probably wasting repairing up that orbital command to keep it alive. And again, Maru has a death grip on this until this medevac is taken care of. The medevac providing so much sighting for those tanks, and the Marines preventing the Viking from getting on top. This is a beautiful push right now from Maru, and exactly what he needs to come back into this game.
Okay, medevac finally goes down, and it looks like the Marines want to try and commit to taking down that command center. It doesn't work out. One of the tanks goes down, but Maru just has so many units. Army supply is even, but Clem is so concerned about the siege tank that he's getting closer and closer to losing this. He's now going to ferry down one of his tanks, but it is going to take some fire. It does get one shot off before going down, but there's so many Marines here. It looks like Clem's going to follow the SCVs in order to push this back in the end. Clem's still with a supply lead, but he's now down in workers. Somehow, crazily, in this game, he pushes Maru back. He kills a few tanks. What a very, very, very good engagement there from Maru, who now has no Marines.
Yeah, no army at all. He's got this third command center, but it's in no position to move out right now. Maru's army is so hampered right now after that loss. The army size tab shows you just what a rough spot Maru is in. But he's got barracks 4 and 5 coming up, and he won't be able to land and control this third command center at this location here for a long-ass time, Grant. I know that's a very specific measurement, but Clem already has his third base down, and since he has the army advantage after Maru wasn't able to completely win the game there, that Clem's still in a pretty decent spot behind being a little bit behind, despite being a little bit behind in economic. This double drop looking pretty spicy as well.
Yeah, Clem right now moving up towards the base of his opponent, unloading all of his units. Here he's got 8. He's got a tank and a bunch of Marines, and he's set up in a very, very nice spot. Stim is right there. Is Clem going to be able to get that? No, he doesn't commit to it either. As the missile turret finishes, he doesn't want to lose too many units right now. He knows it's very important. Maru has an SCV just moving across to see if the third is done. It will confirm that it is done and then get gunned down. Thank you for your service, my friend. But Clem is controlling the third base right now, which is exactly what he wants to do. He doesn't want to let Maru get it. A stim forward there does mean he picks up a couple of SCVs. 3 end up going down. But right now, Maru is going to put... Oh, actually, Clem's really committing to this right now.
Yeah, some of you might be a little surprised. You're like, wow, wait, what? Why is Clem being so aggressive? Hey, if Maru takes an economic lead, he is a player who's not ever going to give it up. Never. Not ever. Never. So you got to be aggressive. You got to get in here right now. Clem needs to focus fire down these tanks. Only one tank goes down, though. Both of Maru's tanks so clutch there. And oh, no, Clem losing a medevac there full of Marines.
Yeah, but he kills 7 more SCVs, which is what he wants to be doing as well. He's shelling away at this base. He's going to force repairs. It's heavily muled up right now, which is giving Maru a little bit of an income lead, I imagine. Yeah, he's mining just a little bit more as he does have those mules. But behind this, Clem is just making SCVs. This isn't harming Clem in any way. He's not committing any more than he has. He's actually starting to bring all of his reinforcements, knowing that he's in a pretty good spot here. And if he can catch just 1 or 2 tanks unguarded, he'll be able to snowball this maybe into a map 3. For now, though, he's just sharking about, trying to pick his moment, pick his fight, pick his position to stomp down onto Maru.
Yeah, this is still anybody's game. Look at that SCV count. Grant dead even right now. Now, Maru does have his 1-1 just finishing up, and Clem's still about 20, 30 seconds away from that. So that's going to be a significant win for Clem, but note that Clem's armory slightly ahead as well. So 2-2 should be able to start earlier for Clem as long as both players are very diligent about those upgrades. Hopefully, Clem can borrow some chrono boosts from his buddy Mana on his team and maybe get some of those upgrades going a little bit faster, but I don't know if that's going to work out. 4th CC starts up for Maru, but again, Clem's slightly ahead of the gun. He's got a 4th CC already on the way as well, and I love this. We talked about this with Beyond's matches earlier, Grant. Clem putting himself on the map, risking these units. He's putting himself in a much more dangerous position in order to stop Maru from being aggressive, and I love it. Note the scouting billies as well on both sides here for Clem, who's playing a very robust game right now.
Yeah, Clem now starting his upgrades on Matt. He's getting 2-2 and +1 vehicle weapons. Maru started his +2 weapons just like 2 seconds after Clem. Now starts up armor and vehicle weapons. So he's a little behind, but it's very difficult in these tiny, tiny windows to pounce. So all in all, very even in terms of upgrades. Clem down in worker slightly, but he does have quite a bit of a larger army right now, up 22 army supply, and his army value in terms of minerals is 500 more. He's slightly lower on the gas as he doesn't have a liberator or anything like that, and he doesn't have any ravens. That's going to make it very difficult for Clem to push. Having no ravens at this point in the game is a little scary, I'd say, because that's a lot of tanks with interference matrices, and he's going to be down 2 or 3 tanks less due to interference matrices.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see Maru has a bit more of a robust, a more diverse army right now. Clem just mostly in Marine medevac tank. As you said, the tank count fairly even, but Ravens can change that very quickly. I love that Maru sends this little hit squad out. Yeah. It's what, 8 Marines at this part in the game? It's nothing, but doing any amount of damage with that, flustering Clem just a little bit is great. Clem setting up for a big push in the 3rd there, Grant. Wow, that's a big commitment.
Yeah, this is ambitious. So many Marines going down to tank fire, and now Clem's tanks are going to be disabled. Oh my god, we even have a flank coming in from the back, drawing tank fire into a non-ideal position. The tank's still standing a little strong, but Maru has complete air control. Feels like Maru, in terms of tech, is just that one step ahead. He has Ravens, he has a Vikings, he has 1 extra tank, he has 1 extra medevac. He's way down on Marines, and Clem has a big bunch of Marines coming forward here, but Clem just needs to take out some of the tech here of Maru, or he's not going to be able to take more efficient fights.
That was a disastrous attack from Clem. Up a ramp into siege tanks with Marines just before 2-2 finishes. I don't know what he was thinking taking that push. I think he may have looked at what was there, maybe missed some of the units that were able to reinforce quite quickly, but a bit of a mistake there from the young Frenchman to wander into Maru's 4th base unbidden and unwelcome like that. Luckily, he's got a plan. Not just 1 expand, Grant, but 2.
Yeah, Clem right now is going to try and spread out over the map a little bit more, and it looks like he wants to take this a bit longer, adding on more and more production facilities, starting to really crank out more tanks. No Viking, okay, 4 Vikings to 11 though of Maru. That's a little bit disconcerting if you're a Team Liquid fan or if you're a Clem fan, because the air battle in TVT, we talk about it over and over again because it is so vital. It allows your tanks to have more range. Tanks can shoot further than they can see, so you need to provide vision for them with these tanks. With these Vikings and medevacs and liberators and things. Clem going for a big drop right now. Okay, he's not going to commit to it. That was scary for a moment.
Yeah, and look at the production tab, Grant. The production facilities that Clem is building, more barracks. What did Maru just finish up? 2 more starports. It's like Maru is 1 step ahead technologically of Clem as well. He knows that Liberator Viking is going to be such a more powerful force multiplier than just more Marines here from Clem. 3-3 Marines are super powerful. Don't get me wrong. Anybody who's ever lost a ladder game to anybody who just built Marines for 10 minutes knows how frustrating it is to see 3-3 Marines. But my God, once you've got Vikings up there for your siege tanks, once you've got Liberators up to drive your opponent's siege tanks back, it's so much stronger. And unless I'm incorrect, check the structures tab. Clem still sitting on 1, count them, 1 Stargate or starport.
Yeah, the scariest thing for me right now is Clem didn't start +3 armor crating. He started weapons, he started vehicle weapons +2, but Maru will pull ahead. I did just check to see if he'd started them both on the same eBay, but that's not the case. He just hasn't started it at all. Maybe didn't have the money. He's got plenty of money now though, and this could end up really, really coming to backfire for him. He's adding on so many command centers.
I think the British phrase for that is tisk tisk, isn't it, Grant?
No. It's something that I'm not allowed to say on stream. Oh my God.
Depends on what part of Britain you're from. Yeah. The doom drop has been missed, though. Holy Grant's coming up the right side with a huge drop.
So look at the air army.
Oh God. Oh God.
Oh God.
No.
This is so bad. Okay, Clem's going to get out before it's too late. He does lose a few medevacs there, though. Maru with just the stroke of genius catching those units means he is now in a very, very good position once again. That was a very, very much a Hail Mary for Clem, I feel like. Clem, though, is moving up to this northwest side where he is going to be able to take down a command center and a good chunk of SCVs. That's nice for Clem because he's building 1 billion command centers himself. Right now, he has 6, and he is building another 4 at a time here, Creighton. So really powering up his economies. We can start throwing away things like SCVs or just getting a bunch of planetary so he can't bloody die. Finally, +3 armor for Clem on the way, but it's going to be a big window where he doesn't have it. And Clem losing more tanks that he really does not want to be losing right now.
This is a fascinating game here. So Clem has set himself up long-term economically to be very, very healthy. He's investing in infrastructure. He's investing in multiple bases. He's investing in a metric crap ton of orbital command so he can get rid of some of those workers later so he won't need them. But at the same time, Maru is technologically superior. His 3-3 going to be way ahead of his opponent.
Yeah.
His 3-3 going to be way ahead of his opponent. Done. Yeah, he's already got Corvid reactor. He's got more I always get it wrong. Sorry, starports. And I'm pretty sure that he's going to have more Ravens and more Vikings out. Look at this Clem again running a bunch of Marines into tank fire. It's okay to throw those away at this point, but it still puts him in a very dangerous spot because Maru's army is just technologically way superior. Yeah. Honestly, and this is a bit crazy, I'd love to see Clem throw down some factories, get some Thors out, do something to shake this up. If he just keeps going Marine tank, Maru with this Liberator Viking production that's been on for 10 minutes now is just going to destroy him. We can see Corvid Reactor coming up from Clem, but it feels like he's a little bit behind the 8 ball militarily. Hopefully he can macro his way out.
Yeah, he's starting to produce as many Ravens as he can, but the Viking count is right now 17-1. What that does mean, though, is on the ground, Clem is massively superior. In terms of Marines, he has nearly double that of his opponent. His +3 armor only about 30 seconds, maybe even less away from completing. So Clem still has the ground game won for now, and he is trying to transition so he can at least keep up in the air. Tanks, Clem's been doing a good job. I think he's killed quite a lot this game. He's managed to kill 10. He has lost 12 himself, actually. They're not perfect. We do see a battle going down right now, Creighton.
Interference matrices all over the map right now, but the Vikings have been actually pushed back by the Marine forces of Clem. So Clem's only going to lose a few tanks here, Grant, and that's actually fantastic. The longer this engagement goes on, the better it gets for Clem, the more time it buys him. Right now, if Clem can play defensive for a little while, he's going to have a great shot at staying back, but he can't keep losing tanks because look at the army supplies. Maru is still very, very scary. Upgrades are now even, +3 vehicle weapons are now even, and really the only differences right now are going to be, well, I guess the armor upgrade is a little bit different, but really the only difference right now is going to be the economy of Clem and Maru's production facilities, where he's adding on even more starports.
Yeah, we're going into mass air.
Grant, what's the over-under on cattle bruisers this game?
No. It seems that the Koreans are favoring Raven Viking instead at the moment. There is a possibility, but I think winning in the air and then going in towards Liberators is kind of favored. But we will keep it going.
Can somebody show the entire Korean StarCraft scene, like all of the Wings of Liberty cinematics? Like battle cruisers are dope, man. Build some. Nice interference matrices here from Clem, and that's going to allow him to clear out a lot of tanks from Maru. And now Maru out of position. Clem finding a nice little opening here, Grant.
Yeah, and this has allowed Clem to get his tanks into a good position, but he doesn't have anything in the air, so he can't win the battle. I know, guys, it is lagging a little bit. Is it for you, Creighton?
No, just
okay,
you.
just me. It's just offering some FPS at the moment, guys, but it is sorting itself out, don't worry. Clem is continuing to produce mass Raven to try and catch up. It's 10 Ravens to 6 right now. Clem randomly has one Hellbat, which I think is just an accident.
It's like a swarm host that every reserve player builds accidentally when they're going to use. Anyway, Clem finds himself in a really good spot. You're absolutely correct, Grant. If he can buy some time to get some more Ravens out, he's going to be very, very even. This Raven fight is dangerous. But Maru's Ravens have been on the map for so much longer. They've got so much more energy. Clem has got to count on superior ground engagements and hope that Maru moves a little bit too far forward aggressively.
Yeah, we do see a stem forward from Maru right now. Clem's Marine's actually stuck by the tanks there, body blocking his own units. Clem has so many bases right now. You can see he has taken the entire bottom side of the map, and he has command centers to spare still. So he is going to probably look to throw away workers in not too long. His bank is starting to get Monocle-esque, 3K, 1.3K.
Yeah, he's getting there.
Yeah, he's getting there, and he's starting to add on all those other upgrades, like high-sec auto tracking, vehicle plating, and all of that stuff. 2 more planetaries coming down here for Clem as well, and he's just continuing to produce Ravens, losing a couple of workers to Maru down here at the southeast. He's going to lose this base as well, most likely, but Clem's got bases to spare. This isn't the end of the world, and Clem's going to use this opportunity to storm forwards and try and catch Maru at the north side.
This is actually really cute here, forcing a big siege up for Maru at his third, because Maru can't afford to lose that base, and Clem says, oh, you're sieging up at that base? No problem. I'll just put myself in between your other bases. Interesting choice from Clem not to push directly into the top northwest corner of the map, but that's because there's only one way in, and there's only one way out. This northwest base is not Fire Marshal approved, Grant. Once you get in there, you can't escape. You don't want to get trapped by an opposing siege tank. So Clem very wisely not being too greedy, and again, just positioning himself in these awkward positions, forcing Maru to kind of take these fights. And I feel like this is still an efficient trade for Maru, but that's okay because Clem's economy is still superior. The last 5 minutes, he has been ahead in economy against Maru, which is not something many players can ever say they've done.
No, but he doesn't have tanks left. That's very scary. Right now, he only has like one that's in this fight. Clem now committing. We're going to see turrets drop everywhere by both of these players. And it does look like Maru takes a commanding victory in that skirmish. Now up 50 supply. Maru was just able, it was purely due to the tanks and the air fire. He has so many units in the air, as well as so many tanks. The tank count 7-1. Ravens 7-2, 21 Vikings to 0. And when you have 21 Vikings, these command centers don't want to stay in the air for too long because they will be blown out of the sky. Hairdryer.
Jiminy Christmas. What a disastrous attack from Clem there. Couldn't quite get the interference matrices off on those tanks in the backside. And that means even though he had a larger ground force, more Marines, they just got rolled, murked by those tanks in the back. And that's going to allow Maru to spread himself across the map. Clem should be able to stabilize. I don't know if this is necessarily game ending, but it's certainly not great. That's going to give Maru an opportunity to come back, not just economically, but to really press his advantage with those upgrades that he's had for so much longer than Maru has.
What Maru's been able to do now is gain a big inwards on the map. He's been able to take steps forward. He's been on his side of the map for a very long time due to the ground forces, but finally Maru is able to take a step forward and be the aggressor. That's what he wants. Clem is producing 18 Marines at a time, but Maru is still producing a lot of tanks. Right now he is sitting at how many tanks? 10 to the 7 here of his opponent. And that is very scary. We can see the air army is just so dominant. In terms of resources lost this game, Clem has been so much less efficient, created 10k minerals almost and 3,000 gas. That is, I mean, when you have a good economy, sure, you can be less cost efficient, but not that less cost efficient.
No, definitely not. Clem's economy has been better for the majority of this game, but we see Maru creeping into the lead slowly but surely over the last minute as he now starts to take aggressive steps across the map. And what I'm really surprised at, Grant, is that neither of these players has really transitioned. No Liberators on either side, no Thors, nothing to like really break up the monotony of what this battle is going to become. And Clem is the player who needed to do something like that as he struggled through the mid game militarily and army composition-wise. He's had a decent economy. He's been playing really well across the map, but even making little mistakes now, not sieging that tank up until it was too late, a little bit late on the anti-armor missile right now. It really feels like Clem has lost a bit of spring in his step here. Maru wants to secure himself a spot in these top 3, and knocking off the top dog Clem is definitely the way to do it in this Group A. Fusion Core coming out, Grant. Come on. Come on, battle cruisers.
Advanced ballistics.
Come on.
It's for advanced ballistics.
No.
It is.
No, don't be a nerd. Come on.
It is.
Don't look at the Liberators in the production tab. Come on. Look at Horner. He hooked up with Han. She was awesome, right?
I don't know who these people are. I've never played the campaign. Advanced Ballistics does start up here. Clem trying desperately to catch up with Maru. He's now finally ahead in the Raven count. And of course, he's at 70 to 12 Marines. That is substantial, in fact. Maru has no Marines. If Clem can catch some of these tanks or drop on top of them or just find the air army out of position, there is a chance that Clem could steamroll forward as Maru is completely moved out of the ground-based force. And Clem, of course, has this incredible free mass marine force. The good news for Maru, though, is that he's never stopped hitting these anti-armor missiles. And that means these Marines just get almost one shot. Finally, we're seeing a bit of a fight in the air, but just look how dominant Maru is able to be.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't count as a fight in the air. It's 24 Vikings to 10 Ravens. The Ravens are going to do some interference matrices, and Clem's going to try and come in here. It looks like he will grab most of the tanks. If the tanks can get cleared, Clem's got a chance here, but it's going to depend on him getting all these tanks down before they get chopped off. And it looks like he's actually going to do it. He's going to push Maru back.
Clem lost a lot in that. He lost all of his Ravens almost. But now what does Maru have on the ground? He has nothing. He doesn't have a single ground unit. He doesn't have any tanks.
Grant, look at the production tab, Grant.
Oh my God, he's doing it.
Grant, it's happening. It's happening. He watched the cinematic.
Yes. But is he going to have time?
Yes.
Is he going to have time?
Clem, This is insane. Clem's moving in, clearing out the economy. Battlecruisers is such a weird choice when your opponent has so many 3-3 Marines on the ground. I liked it earlier, but now it's kind of a joke. It's a very odd choice. But I will say if he gets up to the massive number of Battlecruisers, can do the really annoying micro recall and everything, which people just hate because it's so frustrating to deal with, but it is a really, really nice strategy. So I'm curious to see how Maru's going to use these, if he's going to use them really aggressively or just a few of them to kind of harass. Because let me tell you, in the late game, things like this, little Marine run-bys, if the Battlecruisers warp across the map and clear out a couple mineral lines, those can make huge differences as the game progresses. Obviously, Clem not super angry about losing those because he's just going to pour it all back into army supply with mules to make up the difference. But later in the game, when you're on 20, 15, 25 workers, that can be a huge deal.
Clem still has a huge advantage here in terms of standing army. The Vikings, of course, are nice, but right now Maru has nothing that can shoot down. He's trying to make some Marines, but he's almost entirely transitioned towards mech. And that means that Clem is able to just move forward and just pick off bases left and right. And Maru doesn't have many bases mining efficiently. Right now he has one over at about the 2 o'clock mark. But that is it in terms of efficient mining bases. And that's not even fully saturated. The question is, okay, does Clem know? I was about to say, Clem does now know. What is his answer going to be? I have no idea where to go from here. This game is bonkers.
This is really interesting. I love this. This is like when a Sky Toss loses all of their carriers and they're just like, oh, you know what else is good? Blink Stalkers at the end of the game. And like it actually works. I feel like Marines are like a hard counter sometimes to these battle cruisers and get under them. Really nice interference or anti-armor missiles though from Maru, and this is crazy. There's too much bio here. Even with the anti-armor missile, look at these Marines tearing through the battle cruiser. Liberators are going to zone this out, and Clem will lose a couple tanks here, but really nice placements by Maru to drive these units back. I think this base will go down eventually for Maru, but it will be a very costly attack for Clem, who again finds himself behind in supply to our Korean Terran player.
But Clem is mining like a lot still. If you look at the income right now, Clem is mining over 1,200 minerals more per minute, 1,500 as things go up and he mules up. If he can just take down a base or two more, pick up every unit that he can, Clem is going to be able to outmine his opponent. I honestly didn't think Clem could win this game, but minute by minute, even though he's down in supply, it's starting to look very interesting. He just cannot take too much damage from battle cruisers. Yamato cannon finishing up now means he'll be able to take down tanks instantly. I mean, a fight going on over at the east side now, Creighton.
Interesting, the battlecruisers have been warped in here to try and defend, and Clem's going to get skedaddle on out of there. Does not want to get caught with the anti-armor missile. Battlecruisers will tear through those Marines pretty quickly if they're anti-armored. And again, this will force some SCVs down as well. I don't think at this point either player cares too much. 45, 50 SCVs is about where you need to be at this point in the game because you are going to be trading out. But I love that Clem is continuing to put bio. This is absolutely the right call. He's not getting scared by the flashiness of the battlecruisers or by the liberators. He's going to lose some bio here, but again, he's on 37,000 barracks grant, and with 3-3 Marines against these battlecruisers, which are only 2-3 battlecruisers, he's doing fairly well, but it's not going to be enough. Maru's just had too much